It was exciting times getting on to making this navigation desk end panel and getting another batch of good Mistress fit-out panels finished for epoxy coating. Well, I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky with my list. Surprise, surprise. Go to do one job, which requires thinking about another one. Well, this is a good starting point. Well, things are starting to look pretty damn nice. Well, I've been working on this panel, and just to point out, certainly probably from the camera there, it just looks like yet another panel. And of course, in a lot of ways it is, but the reason why I'm making a point of this is because this had so many little cuts and trims to get it to fit because of where it's going, that underneath you'll see There's a whole lot of little very rough trims and it doesn't look very pretty, but the point being that even some of my work looks pretty messy. The good thing is though, and that's what I was aware of, none of it will be seen. It's all going to be bolted up under hull floor flanges and all this rough stuff won't actually be seen. Thank goodness. Well, I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky with my list. What I'm going to do is, as I'm in the process of epoxy coating panels for the galley here and the nav area, I do have a bit of time up my sleeve, so I'm going to measure and make up the tabletops for this galley area. Yet another exciting move actually, because it'll mean I can then look at cutting those holes out for the sinks. And then, of course, that leads to tapware, etc, etc. I'm not really sure what sort of final finish on the top I will have. I was thinking about having some beautiful rosewood on top. I'm just not sure whether I want to go that way. I'm thinking about it, but because the cabinets are going to be white, I think it's not a bad idea because it'll contrast the white and of course it will match with the cabin sole and the theme of Mistress. It's just that I'm not so sure I want a dark surface on the top. We'll see. First things first, I need to measure up and then cut up the tops here. What I'm going to be using is the 18mm marine ply. That'll give a really nice solidness to the tops, and really I can decide on what sort of top over that later. Well, surprise, surprise. Go to do one job, which requires thinking about another one. So what it is this time is to regards the available stock I've got of this 18mm marine ply. I also want to use the same for the saloon dining table, and I've got a limited amount. In fact, I will have to join probably 2 or 3 pieces to make it all up. So what I'm doing is, before racing in and using up all of the available stock for the galley tops, I just want to make sure that I'm leaving myself the right pieces to tackle the saloon table. I've just taken up some rough measurements of the saloon table and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to end up exactly, because like everything on a boat, there's compromises. And the compromise with regards to a saloon table, as anybody who's been onto a boat with a fixed table would realise, is that if they overhang the seats underneath or overhang too much, it can be really annoying getting in and out, and I don't want to have that situation. On the other hand, if it's too much of a space between where the table comes to and where the seat comes out, if there's too much of a gap there, which makes it easy to get in and out, it means that when it comes to eating, putting a plate, glasses, cups, computer, whatever on top of the table, you really have to be forward on your seat and you can't use the backrest. So of course it's a compromise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a template for the saloon table, put it in place and just walk past, get in and out and see what it looks like. Well, here's the start. It may be a little bit difficult to see the outline, but what I've done is I've got this on the cabin sole just to get the idea of where it will sit in relation to the edge of the seating. Yes, it's a bit tricky to make sense of there. I am going to put it up on the post in a moment, but just to point out that I've mapped it out based on where the saloon seating edge is. And let's see how it looks when it's up. Well, this is a good starting point. Templates in real size really are very useful, and that way you absolutely know there's no mistakes. As you've seen, I can get in and out of here without any problems on both ends. Although an odd shape, the overall size is 1.2 metres by 0.6 of a metre, and I think that this would seat 4 people around it in comfort. It wouldn't be too squeezy. I'm going to leave it in place, and I'm going to come back to this several times over the next couple of days just to sort of trial and error things. Now, one important thing to say about it is the saloon cushions are not in place, and of course that means that you'll be sitting higher. They will impact a little bit on getting in and out. So that's another thing I'll do. I'll put the cushions in place and just fine tune getting this table dimensions just how I want it. As I say, it's going to end up being a slightly odd shape. However, it will actually be running in line with the design of the saloon here. So when you're looking at things, it'll line up, for example, with the cabin sole rosewood, the angle between the saloon bulkhead here and the mast post and the doorway into the V-berth. I know in decades gone by with yacht design that the tendency was to have fairly large saloon tables and often a drop leaf table in order to be able to provide a table for the other side of the saloon. And in recent times, the tendency actually is to go smaller. So I think that this is going to be somewhere in between, neither large nor small. As with everything, there'll be compromises, but this is a good start. Well, things are starting to look pretty damn nice. Well, this is half of the galley top, obviously the rest there, but it's nice to get this bit done. It's a good start. I have the material for the rest, which I'll cut up later, and I do have one piece, which is enough to do that whole saloon table, which is great. And as I mentioned before, I've got these nice deep sinks, 2 of, one to be fitted on this part of the cabinetry and another one right in front here. And I am looking forward to cutting those penetrations, because I think once things like that start going in, it really starts looking like second fix stuff. So the plan is to measure out for the sink cutout and get that cut out before I continue on with the epoxy coating of all those other parts. Another good Boatwork Progress episode down, everybody, and much more to come in the next episode. It's installation time. Okay, so it's time for some more insulation to go into the boat. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell and share. I'd really appreciate that.